Hello guys. So today the guest we have today is Shwet Priya. She's an experimental storyteller who always loves to paint her every frame in the right colors, which could give out the best output and the cinematic look which which anyone would have wanted. And she always gets the lighting right in each and every frame. And when it comes to work, she's very disciplined and she pretty much follows every rule. But she's very committed to work. Also, if you could check out her website, which is shwetpriya.com, her artworks and fine arts are exceptional and profusely detailed. You could see some amazing details in the fine arts, and she has also some amazing artworks in architecture, interior, and the product based travel, food, and beverage. So, coming to her, she has also won the official selection in One Island, which is a place for all the best photographers who meet in a single place. It's like an online website. So basically, in a contest, they showcase the best works, and her image titled "Veins" was selected from 1,50,000 entries. Because of the style she chose by placing a skeleton of a leaf uh, behind one another, so that it shows the undefined pattern of each and every leaf, which does give out an exceptional output. You should really check that out. Also, before this, her short film Silaute was selected in the LA Film Festival in the Best Short Film category. She's also worked as an assistant cameraman for an Hindi drama film called Ye Ballet in 2020. She's also recognized. She has also received several corporate and industrial promotional videos. Recently, she shot in uh, Manipal Hospital's video, which was like really good. Coming to her educational background, she has a master's degree in photography from Life and Light Academy Ooty, where she honored her skills under the mentorship of renowned photographer Iqbal Mohammed. She's also an avid traveler and an adventure enthusiast, and always try to tell her stories through her beautiful images. As of now, she's working as a professional photographer and filmmaker. Thank you for joining us today, ma'am. We would love to hear from you.
Hey, thank you, Teja. But I think it was a little exaggerated though. Well, to begin with, Cyril, thank you for inviting here. It's been quite an honor to be working with you for a couple of years now. I think only last year we couldn't, 2 years, right?
Yeah, yeah. A pleasure.
Only two Christmas
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
pending. Well, so yeah, couple of pointers that I started off. Yes, I am into filmmaking. I do photography and cinematography. That's the truth, and I don't know anything apart from that. Any questions that you have today, or any kind of things that you want to know about my journey, is always open. Yeah, I'm an open book. You guys can just question, and I'll be there. And moreover, to start off with my basics, yeah, I was born and brought up in Belgaum, and like everybody, did my schooling there. It's a very it's not a convention journey that I had because my family belongs to services, and most of them wanted me to join these services and not the art field and all of it. But perhaps I made my own journey that brought me here today, where I'm working as an independent cinematographer today. I somehow had, what to say, I had to choose between two paths when I was doing my UPSC, and as well as, or I had to choose between masters. So I planned on doing my masters in photography, which laid a foundation to my um, visual journey. And post that, there's been no looking back for me. It has been a journey which is up and above, slowly, but it's a journey. So, and most of the students who have known me also in the college, uh, a couple of colleges there that I've taken classes in, they know how it's never been one way. It's always a two-way of learning. And post that, I think I started working in post my post graduation in photography. I started assisting people in the industry in Bangalore. So the best thing about South India is we can work in four industries, which is Telugu and Telugu, Malayalam, and Kannada. And moreover, we have access even towards Bollywood. Somehow here I assisted, and post I felt I wasn't learning much, so I shifted to Bombay for much better exposure. I went ahead there, and fortunately, I got an opportunity to work with the cinematographer named Anil Mehta and Santosh Sivan. So somehow I kind of had my work shown to them, and they kind of liked it, and that's how I went about it. Post that, I have gone towards what to say. I joined the Hollywood team Extraction, which was in India for one of the schedules for 10 at 10 extractions, and joined them and did that and understood better what is how they function in Hollywood. And it's been a journey, yeah. And post that, I've just been independent and I've been working here. I've been traveling a lot with like my journey has been all about travel from Bombay to Bangalore, Bangalore to Chennai, and again every time you call me, I'm sure I would be in a different place. So that's been about me. So let's just get, if it is very interactive, it would be amazing.
Hi, ma'am. Hi. Ma'am, so I've also read you do love writing a lot. So, like, how do you balance your writing and your profession? Like, what do you do in your freedom? Like, how do you channel your energy?
See, for me, it's all about visuals, right? When I go even riding, it's all about the what to say. It keeps me up and high. It just gives me a you. Everybody needs a hobby. So for me, my hobby became my profession at a very early age, and I was like, okay, if this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm happy with, that's how I went about it. And moreover, riding and this, I travel. Yeah, I travel quite a bit uh, because of my work, and that helps me channelize my energy. Perhaps by whenever you travel, you are open to a lot of things around you, in and around you, and that's what helps you create certain type of lighting towards your, the scripts that come to you or whatever it needs.
How do you like generally try out like new style of photography, like in your nature and fine art fix? Like, how do you like go with the liquid photography or the leaf photography? Like, do you specialize in any single photography, or it's just you try out many different things?
See, when you come to photography, it's a vast, what to say, a syllabus. Uh, Starting from everything around you, you need to disconnect from. Be it your parents or be it your friends, be it anywhere. You see a product or you see a subject. So when I started off in my institute, I think in the beginning, for the first 10 days, we were given an assignment with certain things, with alphabets, numbers, and quite a lot of other things. But what that made us do is, we were alert with regards to I seeing around things. Even when I travel, I just to just look out of the window, or observing is the main skill. So when you observe, you start observing, you just disconnect from whatever you have. Everything that is happening around you becomes a subject to you. So if your dad is just walking or talking or doing something around, it becomes like he's a subject to you. What is that subject doing? Why is he doing that? Or does he, what kind of light will look better on him in whatever deed he's doing at that point, will again give you a detailed things. For me, as I think a couple of them that are there in this room know that I have been a person who always questions why am I doing certain things, and that is where I find my answers. And I'm pretty curious kid like that. I've always been a pretty curious kid, and even today, that curiousness is still alive. And I see anything, I'm like, why is that kind of a pattern there? And then I go on to an answer, or if I'm not finding it, I check with the mentors or figure out what is the answer to it or solution to it.
Mhm. Ma'am, if a- anyone would were to come into your field at an early stage, like what suggestion would you give? Like in like in what areas they
See,
should be knowing better before they enter into this cinematography and product based or food based bloggers, to be precise, like who are into more into food and products.
today photography and cinematography and everything is widely available for everybody there. Yeah, not only to people have started taking it as hobby. There are people who just run their kitchen on these skills, and moreover, it is all about the skill set that we have. Everybody has a camera. Everybody's what to say, uh, open to it. Everybody can shoot anything they want, and everything is put up over the web, right? It's a world wide web,
Yeah.
so everyone has an access to it. So understanding, understanding between the rubbish content and the good content is a very genuine thing. Today you can even be there are people from the old school who have not had schooling to photography or cinematography or anything. They come from the basis of experience. The knowledge transfer to them happened through their mentors. But lately what has happened is people need to know as to what they are entering into. How are they gonna what to say, how are they, it has become a little necessity for to learn the technicalities of the craft. Perhaps be it simple compositions, or there's a lot of content even online. People want to do that, but then these institutes help you build your own contacts internally, and there'll be a lot of photographers, the directors, editors. You build in your own contact. So I would, oh my god, sir's here. So that's how it goes. In fact, guys, can
Yeah.
you please bring in Santosh sir on
Yeah.
top?
Um, where is he? Can find him.
Okay, I think he's just visited us. He's one of the big mentors. He's been in my
Yeah. Yeah.
journey. I've seen his movies in
Hello, sir.
Gurgaon. I think he's not there.
Okay.
Must be somewhere.
Okay, that was great.
Okay, leave
Okay, he
it.
left.
So yeah, apparently no, that's the thing. He's usually into something or the other. He was there anyways. So I've gotten an opportunity to work with him. Sorry, I got distracted about it.
It's okay.
But yeah, he's been an amazing mentor to us. His movies. I'm sorry, what was your question? I kind of blanked out.
It's just like what
You asked about if it's necessary for the young, how to go about
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
how
Yeah.
to
Like
go about
for
in the industry, right?
starters, like
So
how should they
yeah.
approach it?
So see, it's very important to learn the basics any day, whatever you're doing. Compare it to cooking, compare it to driving, compare it to anything. You need to know your basics right. You need to set it right. So only when you get your basics right, you will be able to go ahead and do whatever you want. Even when you're doing a sketch, perhaps you'll start learning with one what each lines, right? You start
Yeah.
scribbling, and then you go ahead. And even when you're studying, when you start learning things, they start with A, B, C, D, and not with your vowels or anything else, words or anything. So similarly, you'll have to learn the craft from the basic, be it photography wise, composition wise, lighting wise, but it is all inspired around the nature. Yeah. Also, it's always good to have the technical knowledge from your educational background, plus get the industry experience. But do not be a what do you say, a copy of somebody. Have your own what is it? Have your own inspiration towards work.
Uh, and also, I'm like, what does an exactly screening committee member do? Like, I
So you're
didn't get it.
talking.
Like, could you just brief about it? Like, you also do work as a screening committee member, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I work for what is it? I work for the Belgium International Short Film Festivals and a couple of short film festivals, and I am a screening committee director there and all of it. What you get to do there is you can watch a lot of movies, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Some are visually too good, some are conceptually too good, some are what to say, direction wise too good,
Mm,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So these are the things that we do in the screening committee, perhaps all through everywhere. It's amazing. I mean, all of the wherever, whichever country, every country has its own nativity, right? In fact, if forget about the world, but let's just consider India.
Mm-hmm.
We have like south and north and east and west. If you come towards the south, the Malayalam industry has a complete different nativity compared to the Kannada industry. In fact, in Kannada, in Karnataka as well, they're different. There's a North Karnataka, South Karnataka. The nativity of each place is different. the originality of it. Only if you bring that into cinema, or in a picture, it just portrays well. People will be able to connect it.
Ma'am, and also like, could you just tell about like what were the challenges you faced while you were doing your short film Silaude? Because it was selected as the best short film, right? Like, how hard did you work for it, and what were the challenges you faced while doing it?
See, that was a very, even before I did my what is it, masters,
Masters.
we had gone with that movie, and it was a very, what to say, the approach there was not very professional. I would like to say that, but the amount of learning that we had while doing it was something really fun. A lot of risk taking nature, or certain things. Post that is when I went and did my studies in photography and all of that. And post that I did some workshops in cinematography in Singapore and quite a few places, and started assisting, as I said. Post that, I made another film called as 505, for which I won the best cinematography. But then again, coming to basics, these awards and everything are just for you to, just for the sake of motivation and nothing else. It's not going to make you anything. You just need to, you win it or you don't win it, you are on level zero every day.
True, true. Yeah,
Yeah, so you will have to work however old you are, however young you are. You through art is something that you'll always have to keep learning each and every passing day. I hope that answers your answer.
yeah, yep, yep. I'm clear. I'm clear. Thank you. Uh, Aditya, do you have something to ask? You've been wanting to ask, right?
Yes, good evening, ma'am. Shwet, ma'am. I'm
Yeah,
Aditya,
yeah.
and I'm studying at Westwood's Academy of Design. And I have a couple of questions for you. Um, I read about your career in photography and cinematography, and I read that you were under the mentorship of Mr. Iqbal Muhammad sir. And
Yes.
yeah, I would like to learn from you what you learned from Mr. Muhammad sir.
Oh my God, it's gonna take ages, brother.
Oh, okay.
But
Like, yeah.
yeah, I have still not learned quite a bit from him. But
Okay.
frankly speaking, a lot of images that you see, if you see my website, it's still not been updated with quite a lot of work,
Okay.
because you don't really, every day you wake up, you think that this will be good on the website, this will be good. But every day, someone else, every content that you create is liked by someone or the other. Some people like it, some people don't like it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So when I started doing my post graduation in Light and Life Academy in Ooty,
Yeah.
the only college that I saw in India was that college. I get
Okay.
it that it's on an expensive side and all of it, but the
Okay.
amount of knowledge transfer that I got from that place, and the inspiration and the mindset, the amount of inspiration I got from that man is immense, because of the way he approaches to his approach towards art is completely different.
Okay.
Today, when we do automobiles, why I'm saying this is, during the 80s, he's
Okay.
again a Brooks. He's a alumni of Brooks, which is in the US, and he studied from there. And then he came back to India and he started off his institute, and he was working. He was a working professional in India, and he was one of the top photographers. I'm sure most of you all know Atul Kasbekar.
Uh, I guess, yeah. Heard
Yes,
of
ma'am.
this
Um,
person.
I like he's what to say? He's again a senior of Atul Kasbekar. I
Okay.
think most of you know Dabu Ratnani from this
Okay.
generation, but not of Atul and Iqbal Mohammad and quite a few other pros and all of these photographers who were
Okay.
back in the 80s and 90s, who were Satya sir and all of it. These guys were the people who actually ran the industry, were running the industry, and they were on the top of the league at that point when it comes to work and art, when it comes
Okay.
to photography and cinematography. So
I got
what I learned from him is 90% of your work, 98% has to be your work has to be on floor, and only 2% of it has to be post production.
okay. Yes.
So
I agree with that. Yeah.
everything, the prep had to be done in such a way for automobile as well, that most of the car and everything, the pictures that you see of Maruti in the 90s or 80s, no, it was
Yes.
all shot by him. And the way he even shoots today, we have a huge automobile studio back in Uti. And I remember the way we light it up, and it's all natural light.
Okay.
Yeah, we take the cars out to spin, and then depending on the direction of it, depending on, there's a huge, it's a large scale. It's just like a movie set, but then with limited members. It's a huge thing. But these days the photographers, like, the photographer called Satish from Omni Studios again. He's from Chennai, and he shoots for. I got an opportunity to work with him as well. He does shoots for Royal Enfield. I've got
Okay.
an opportunity to assist him and do shoots with him. Lexus, Toyota, and Hyundai, and quite a few brands like that.
Oh,
And all the hoardings that you see, all the brochures that you see. But these days, the work, the way the workflow has changed is different. Wherein 50% of your work is done, what is it? 25% of your work is done pre, and
okay.
another 25 is done on production, and 50% is done in the post production, as far as I see. But in our industry, like, if you want me to tell you what Iqbal sir did and what I learned from my mentor, is trying to do everything mostly on production, because it doesn't need a lot of time to do those tweaks here. Instead,
Yeah.
the editor will keep, he will spend a lot of time on the flow. So
Hmm.
that's not a great thing to do. So always keep in mind to keep minimal Photoshop or Lightroom or any kind of even VFX. Only if it is necessary, go ahead with it. If not, then take care of it by
Post production.
yeah, by working in the production.
Okay.
Every inch of your frame is yours. It might, the property might not be yours, but your lens, whatever you have, that viewfinder, whatever you see, is yours. I hope this answered your
Yeah, yeah.
question. Yeah.
I learned a lot. Yeah.
Yep.
Lighting is very important when it comes to photography, especially natural lighting, because that's like that gives you like 90% of the photograph. If there is really bad lighting, the subject won't be visible that clearly in
Um,
the frame and everything. And
Sure, I would say that, but there've been people who, there are people who actually, do photography even with night light.
yeah,
I have done a couple of night shoot where, a Milky Way shoot, galaxy shoots, and wherein I have shot only with a 100-watt bare bulb. So a lot of these places used to be sent on assignments, and it used to be crazy to, even get people around 1 o'clock sitting with one zero bulb there, and different people set of locations. We would go on live locations and shoot for our assignments. And it I when I look back today, I can just see only that, only the dedication made us go ahead, only because I loved the craft so much that it made me put in that much effort, or else I would have been in, when the temperature is around 3 degrees or 4 degrees, you would not want to be outside at 1 a.m, 2 a.m,
yeah,
especially when you're scared of dark and all of it. You wouldn't want to.
yes.
Only the efforts, only if you love the craft, you will make those efforts.
So, like at night, you said you did photography at night. So, what were the cameras that you guys used?
See, I'll tell you, for night photography or anything, there's nothing called as, there are a lot of photographers these days believing that, the technology is more important. I don't really
Okay.
see that. The technology is again something that you need to learn every day. It gets updated every day. But the vision that you
Yeah.
have will never change. The vision that you have is
Yes.
going to be the same, and the vision that I have is going to be different.
Yeah.
Right? In the same scenario, we both will be shooting in a different way, be it day or night.
Yeah.
But when it comes to night photography and all, I do understand the technicalities have today upgraded to, like, 25,000 ISO and all of that. Sony cameras are there, Fuji is there,
Yeah.
Canon is coming up with some great sensors. Nikon is like again for wildlife. People have been using that, but I've never been a great Nikon fan. But I've been a Canon user and Sony user so far, as well as when
Mhm.
it comes to cinematography, Arri is the best for me.
Okay.
But I don't. I love shooting like that. Yeah. Then there is Varicam, which is actually updated. See, these kind of knowledge, these technical things, no, you can always go through it. That's why I said the institutes help you to understand these things.
Okay.
Ma'am, I got a question. Hello. Yes, Tejo, we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
hear you. So like since you started being a cinematographer, like what's the best skill you have acquired so far?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Like since you've started being a cinematographer till now, like what's the best skill you have acquired so far in this progression?
The best
Yeah,
skill.
the best skill. What's the advanced skill you have gotten? Like in which area you have felt that like I've been the best in this field of in this skill I've been improving much and much better.
See, when you ask me the best skill or anything, I am not sure what the best is something, there's no definition to it. The best for me changes every day. The
Okay.
the picture that won an award today, I don't like it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say anything against it, but then yeah, there are a lot of things about it that I don't. Every day the perspective changes, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the one skill that I learned is you need to. There's a lot of hardship in this industry. It's not going to be a smooth thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's never going to be a smooth ride for you in the industry. You need to uh, keep updating your skills every day. In fact, beat beat understanding your south knowledge, because what happens, the grammar of every industry is different. Let me tell you this. When I say grammar is the working workflow or the work process, the way you approach the people's mentality is completely different when compared to why I'm saying this also is because when I worked in Sandalwood, it was different. Post that, when I went to what to say, any other industry from south, when I migrated to, like, when I moved to Mumbai, it was a complete different what to say, set behaviors or set behavior, however people behave there, the directors, the art directors, the actors, everything was different. And going further from there, when I went ahead and did Hollywood films, when I worked for those set, that also was quite different. In fact, the exposure was different, the way they organized themselves was different. So you need to keep updating. And I kept on, the moment I felt that there's nothing for me to learn here and I need to, take a leap ahead, I kept on moving. So there's never in life you need to stop. You have to keep moving with knowledge. The same camera, I think, for an example, a few years ago, 5D Mark III was so much, because you're all photographers. I'm giving an example. 5D Mark III was trending so much, but now I think everyone wants a piece of Sony, and everyone wants to have that camera.
Yeah, yeah. Ma'am, like, is there any scenario like when someone disagreed with your vision? Like when you shoot, like you will shoot it with a artistic vision, right? Like, has there been any such situation where you were disappointed when it wasn't like the expected output you have been thinking?
Oh, it's gonna be part of your life, brother. Let me tell you this. Yeah, it is gonna, because you see, you're a
Mm-hmm.
cinematographer. So you're a cinematographer and a photographer. There's always going to be a creative director who actually heads the department and tells what exactly is needed out of it. Until unless you're shooting for your own self and personal things, it's different. There are two worlds. That is, one is commercial world, where you're doing work for the sake of, obviously, because you run the kitchen, you need money for it. So the commercial aspect of it will make you do work which you might not enjoy doing, but you love doing what you're doing, and you do it just because of that. There will be a lot of scenarios you guys will be getting involved with when it comes to directors, because not a lot of people come from the schooling background and then they want it in certain way because they've seen it in some movie or somewhere else, and they think that works, but they'll find it difficult on the editing table as to why it doesn't work and how it should have gone like the way the technical person had mentioned earlier. So you will be going through it, but again, it's in your hand how you persuade the director or the creative director and tell him this is not the angle that has to go. But ultimately, you need to understand the director is the captain of ship, and you are there to support his vision. So any movie that you're making will always be if you're watching a movie, perhaps nothing should overpower, be it the sound or be it the actor or be it the direction. A good movie is only a good movie when all the departments have worked equally. Only then, there are some movies you go and you say, it was an amazing visual treatment, but I didn't like the acting, the direction field. That's not a good movie at all for me. And some movies you go watch and you're like, the direction was amazing, but then the cinematography was not. But there are limitations to everything. Ultimately, we need to know that we are on the board, we are second on the board, and we'll have to help the director get his vision.
Cool, cool. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Shwet. Priya, somewhere in the beginning, I think Teja asked this, and we spoke a little bit about schooling and things like that often. So this kid, one kid recently came to me. He was confused between he wanted for you to become a photographer, okay, and he was confused between he was 18, confused between choosing visual communication or a full and full degree program because there are so many programs now which is very special, gives you specialization and things. So he was confused in visual communication or full and full photography degree and choosing his institute. So what would you tell those kids? Yeah, there might be definitely a few also like that. So he was having a few big names in school names. Maybe he wants to get in there, so, but he was not sure if he will get in there, and he was confused between which degree. So, what would you tell those kids here who want to become a photographer or cinematographer, choosing those courses and the institute? What should they keep in mind, or how should they take that call?
See, basically, I'll tell you about my journey, Cyril. In fact, when I was trying to figure out which college to go in, what to do, how do I go about my journey in this industry, I had to do a thorough, what is it, research behind the college with regards to college, with alumni, with who is teaching there, and what kind of content will I learn there, what is the best there, and with that, what is my SWOT there, what will be my strengths there, what will be the weaknesses there, what can I do ahead going with that course. So when I started researching, there was an academy called Shari Academy, then there were a couple of colleges in Bangalore, then there was NIFT, then there were a couple of other colleges which gave photography course. But I was very, very keen on doing photography because that was a foundation for cinematography. So I
Okay.
wanted to go in depth. I wanted to have the in-depth knowledge. That's why I went into photography and then chose to going into cinematography, because at that point cinematography courses costed somewhere around 25 to 30 lakhs. And even
Mhm.
today they're the most expensive, apart from FTIs and SRFTI and all of those. So
Mhm.
at that point, what I did is thoroughly checked, and this was the only college at that point which was specifically designed only for the sake of photography.
Okay. Okay.
The expense side was different. I had to mend some things and all of it, mend some savings and all of it. But all I can say is it was worth it. But if anybody's planning to go with regards to, for me, that was the only choice. I was like, okay, these guys are only into photography. These guys are only into visuals. So I will get to learn a lot better. If my post that, I had vision, like, I wanted to do cinematography, so I did workshops. So if someone wants to be a cinematographer, then they can go. There are a lot of institutes, Mindscreen, Rajiv
Mhm. Mhm.
Mansur's institute is there, a couple of institutes, even online there are a couple of them, and then abroad there are a couple of them.
Mhm.
Every
Mhm.
day there are a couple of new institutes coming in, but a student has to always do a background research as to what are they going to learn there, or are they going to learn everything online. It's always good to have a mentor and then decide as to, first put your foot down, try assisting somebody, check for, like, a month or two if that is something that you really want to do.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then they will be, you will be needing these references also to college, to join the colleges,
Mhm. Mhm.
because whatever they've invested, the ROI also is important at this point in life
Mhm.
for everybody.
True.
And I think only during the COVID time, there were a lot of online classes and sessions that happened even on Clubhouse, as far as I remember. But the moment the lockdown opened, not a lot of photographers survived.
Mhm.
So they're having a background with, a bachelor's or master's in it will always help. But understand where you're doing it from, which is going to add value.
Okay. 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 Got it.
Uh, should we pull people like who?
Yes. Yes. You can pull for Q and A.
Guys, you have any questions? You could let me just turn on.
Just raise your hands and we'll pull you up.
Yeah, hand raise is open to everyone. You could just hello, guys, sir.
Good evening, Shweta.
Hi, hi.
Uh, Good to see that somebody coming from North Karnataka and achieving these milestones. It's really really good because I come from that area. It's always very
Oh,
difficult to see people taking up this kind of a decision and that success. So my question is like, what were the challenges you faced when you wanted to convince your parents, because you said all your family people come from a service background. So
yeah.
because there could be many people who are looking forward to achieve their interest, their passion, but then they come out with a
Mhm.
lot of challenges. So if you could share your challenges and how did you succeed in convincing them to you know give you this support.
See, thank you. You said you're from Belgaum again.
Hubli Dharwad region.
Oh, fantastic, nice. So you know how it is back home, right? So yeah, mm, I come from Belgaum, and I said, and my parents were really like, it wasn't a big task for me to actually convince them. In fact, my dad was like, do whatever you feel like doing, and it's amazing. I just had to convince him with the right plan and with the clarity that I had. And he always wanted me to do something that I love doing. And the only thing that challenge was there in me, and that determination was there in me, that I wanted to do this. If not the services, then I always wanted to be in this industry. So I understand, and especially when we are from the small towns like Belgaum, or there are no more small towns now, but people do have this thought ki art only if you're a doctor or a engineer or a IAS officer or a any kind of officer, you or a like if you have a if you're working in an IT sector, you're respected a lot. The moment there were a couple of instances, I'll tell you. So when you go for any functions or anything, and the moment they get to know that you're from, they ask you questions. No, where are you from? Where what do you do? So the moment if the couple of friends around us, they're like, "Where you from?" They ask the A person. They're like, "Huh, from here, so and so." The questions build up, saying, "Where are you working? What are you doing?" And the moment you say you're a photographer, oh, okay, there's no more questions to you. They never bother to ask you any other question. But then the people these days have changed. The moment they know that you're a photographer or cinematographer, uh, they try and ask you about a lot of things with regards to its nitty gritties. They're like, oh, my son has a camera and we have been planning to gift him this. We are planning to have this as a hobby because it actually gives them what to say. Um, they enjoy doing photography and a lot of other things with it. It's not a hard task until and unless you are clear with what you want to do.
So when you did your basic schooling, so how did you thought of starting this career with any specific education along with your 12th or something, or what kind of a graduations you did?
Oh, I wasn't even aware that there used to be any kind of courses like this and all of it. So what happened is, as since I studied from St. Mary's, so I used to travel a lot with my parents. And what happened is, one fine day, I have you heard of this place called Dandeli?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so I used to travel a lot with my parents to Dandeli, and apparently Dandeli, Hampi, and quite a few places. And I kept on clicking pictures instead of clicking pictures of people. I kept on, like my family, I kept on clicking pictures of monuments and wildlife and other things.
Hmm.
That kind of made me, my mom kind of made fun of it as to ಏನಿದು ಕಲ್ಲು ಮಣ್ಣು ತೆಗಿತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Generally they do that.
I kind of yeah, so ideally people do that, and that was a thing that my parents had seen at that point. So, and I used to, any kind of function or any kind of what to say event, I used to always have the camera in my hand. That is where it built. And post that, I wanted to join the forces and all of it, which apparently because of the merit out and all of that, I couldn't join. And that is when I joined further and I started doing. I went ahead, and my parents were okay with me doing photography, masters in it, and all of it.
I think you should
Hello,
thank your
Santosha.
parents who could, take this as your passion, as your career. So I think you should thank your parents
And
also.
that is always there. I have to thank my parents all, every day, in fact,
Yeah.
for this.
I think I should take pause because Santosh is already there to take it forward.
Right, Santosh. Hi,
Hi,
sir.
hi, Sweta. Fantastic talks you're giving. Very good. I'm very impressed.
Thank you, sir.
I'm very impressed, and also good that you're encouraging so many people. Which is fantastic. Um, I don't have actually much to say, but the fact is that if I just go down my history of working, then I think one of the first reasons why I wanted to be a cinematographer or a photographer was because of my passion to travel. I wanted to travel. I didn't want to have a 9 to 5 job. I wanted to travel and enjoy the world. So the passion is nothing to do with cinematography, but it is to understand travel, because I think if you are interesting, that you will find that traveling is your first education. Going to a school and going to a university and college is all secondary education, because you experience what is being taught as a group of people. But when you travel, it is always specific to you. Where which is why I feel that your awareness and your sensibilities grow, because you are directly in touch with people, and this is not can't be taught in any school, you know. Even after I went to Film Institute Pune, I have learned more than about life and cinematography and photography from my travels than in a regular institute, actually. So first we have to be sincere to the fact uh, that you learn when you travel, you know what I mean, and to have more exposure. See, if you sketch, I sketch actually, then you observe what you sketch, whether it's a face or whether it's a landscape or whatever. Then you get into details that enriches your sensibility, because you're actually observing it, not just recording it with a picture or camera or whatever. Then you understand that this is what makes a face beautiful. These are the problems that you feel, that makes it imperfect. But does this imperfection makes her or him more prettier or worse? So you learn all that. You learn a lot through observing. Like if I go into a house, without actually trying to preempt anything, you already have observed where the light is coming through, where the sun is. So it's somewhere it is, you have trained your mind to observe, which I think is the most important thing for a filmmaker, cinematographer, photographer, or any creative person. You know what I mean? I shot a documentary on farmers. So the farmer said something very interesting. The farmer said that 1 plus 1 is not two. It might be for you who have studied in a school, but for people like us, 1 plus 1 has to be more than three. He's talking about a relationship. If two people get married, it has to be three. If you throw a handful of rice in the rice fields, it has to be hundreds. If you plant a mango tree, it has to be much more than 1 plus 1 is equal to two. What he actually means is very relevant to most creative people. That is, when you film something, you have to feel that you have to put yourself in it and make it, than mere recording, some kind of a personal connect, which will actually tickle the audience who's seeing it, to make them feel this I have not seen before. So he has no, he what he anticipated as 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 has become 4 or 3 or 2. So if you put that in your mind when you actually film something, you will realize that it is a fantastic challenge, and it is full of, you feel so good trying to. So I think what we need to do is to have your mind filled with something that can surprise people, and something like a revelation, something that is your observation. So it becomes very interesting. After doing Film Institute in Pune, and I learned so many things from there actually. But when I came back, they all told me that if you don't assist someone, you cannot be a cinematographer. Now, I was always a rebel, and I never wanted to assist someone, because at that time, after passing out from Film Institute, you think you're a genius. You don't want to assist anyone. You think you have a vision, and you don't want to share it with anyone. You want to do your own thing. Even if you make mistake, you're okay. So you have that kind of thinking. And of course, your parents all are approving that, and they said, okay, whatever you want, you do, like that. But unfortunately, when I met a director, and I told him he's a big director, and I knew him as a kid actually, because he was one of my father's friends. And I told him, Uncle, your films are good, but visually they're very boring and not nice. So I will shoot everything. So he told me, but Santosh, you just passed out of FTI. How you can suddenly talk like this and be arrogant and all that? I said, I'm not arrogant. I personally feel that I can do something good for you. He said, okay, because I know him as a kid. So he said, he was not bad to me. He was nice to me. But unfortunately, after I left him, I had forgotten my dark glasses. So I went back to the hotel room, and I heard him speak to my dad that this idiot doesn't know anything. Please send him to assist someone like Balu Mahendra or Ashok Kumar, who my dad knew very well. So I heard all this, and I was very upset. Okay, that's also good, no, to get upset and deprived, and you think you know something. So when I come back, I made a script of how to handle my dad. So as soon as I came back home, I touched my dad's feet, and he said, why you touch my feet? Then I told him, because he was a great photographer actually. So I told him, you are my only guru. And so that ended the chapter of me assisting anyone. Okay, that is good. Then later on, because I didn't have any opportunities in the film world, I took up a job with Vivekananda Kendra, where I used to do a lot of videos. They have something called Balwadis, which means children's places where they're not very rich people. So people like Tata and Hindujas would feed them. Then I would have to go and record them, and they'll get more money to have their food. So I traveled quite a bit, because that was my original intention of embracing something like photography, because it gave me an opportunity to travel. And if you didn't know, photography is a visual art, so it has a universal quality to it. So it can go anywhere. It doesn't need India. It transcends actually. So I like that. I like to be in a field where it can transcend languages. Visual language is unique to the whole world. So it is it's a kind of thing that you can reach out to. So I think we all should think like that. You know what I mean? So after I did this Vivekananda thing, they thought I was very eager to travel and experiment with education. And since back then I had also, along with Film Institute, I've also done the Kodak course for photography by learning to make a photochemistry, prints, color and black and white. So I could make all that. So I was a competent teacher. So they decided that they will send me to Arunachal Pradesh. That time I agreed to the job because I didn't have much idea of Arunachal Pradesh. I didn't know it was near Himalayas. I thought Arunachal Pradesh must be next to Andhra Pradesh. But then they shifted me to this place, which almost It took me 10 days to reach, actually. And if you Google Arunachal Pradesh even today, it is mostly forest, full of tigers and lions, not tigers and elephants and all kinds of wild stuff. Very few inhabitants. And so I landed up in a school after 9 days, traveling through Tinsukia, Assam, where when I'm traveling, one bomb has exploded and destroyed a bridge, that kind of place. I landed up there, and then I got into a school which is inside 2 acres, fully fenced because it's a dangerous area, no? And full of tribal children who are very hostile. They have swords with them, and they're from different tribes, so they're always fighting with each other. 25 different tribes in one school. You can imagine how bad that is. And the people in the third standard are 15 years old, like that kind of people. So I landed up there to teach. The first thing that shocked me was that they had made Gandhiji's statue in front of the school. But Gandhi was nothing like what we have seen of him. Here, Gandhi was built. Here, Gandhi was built like Yul Brynner with muscles and thick calf muscles and thighs and everything. To make things worse, the hand was raised and the stick was like he was chasing someone out. So I asked these kids, why you are doing Gandhi like this? He was not like that. But they could never understand or comprehend the understanding of non-violence. And they told me, Gandhi chased the Britishers out. So the stick has to be raised. Like that kind of people you're talking about. You know what I mean? So later on, when one of their dogs died, I accompanied them for his burial, and it was a very solemn affair. They traveled through the forest and found a very tall tree, and they started digging deep under the tree. Okay, 6 feet. The place is getting dark, but they keep on doing it. It's dangerous to be in the forest at that time. Okay, because there are a lot of tigers and everything around. But they kept digging, and then I asked them, how long will it go on? It has to be at least 8 feet down. Then only the dog will become the flower. Okay. So their understanding of nature is very interesting because when they look at a tree, they will also look at how deep the roots are. Later on, their elders told me this is something that I didn't learn from the institute. It's something that I learned from people like this. They said that everything in life that has to have mystery, or life should have a interesting blend of light and darkness. So if you look at a tree, you should also think about the roots. So this is very appropriate for cinematography. If your images has to have mystery and life, it has to have a fantastic blend of light and darkness. So when I light even now, I think about all this. I know, okay, if this lighting has a blend of mystery or and this thing. So more than the technical aspects that we all discuss about, because today's generation is only into technique. But if someone points a finger at the moon, we have to look at the moon, not at the finger. So the technique is only the finger. So even on an iPhone, which can actually create images like the Alexa, if you ask me very frankly, the fact is that we have to look at the moon, not the finger. So the image creation has nothing to do too much with technique. One of the best images that I have seen, I've been shot without any of these big technical devices by Satyajit and Kurosawa and so many people. But the images have something to tell you, which is what is photography or filmmaking or anything. It has nothing to do with just technology. Technology can enhance it. It's not, of course, you should understand it, but that is not what is optimum. It is the way you see things. If
Exactly,
I
sir.
want to look at
Exactly.
the moon, then I should look at the moon.
Yeah.
Okay. That
So
is the
today's
way we should be.
generation, most of the time, sir, they think that if they have the
I just keep quiet and let
equipments.
me finish. Okay.
No, no, sir. In fact, the kind of the subject you just gave, most of the people think that if they have the equipments, they learn everything. They don't go beyond these concepts and all that.
I think there must be some glitch, guys.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
sir. Okay,
Tell
yes,
them.
yes. Okay.
it's
So
Yeah,
really
and
nice
I know
that
you told you are in between something to finish on time. Sorry, it became a little late. Okay, last question. Can we take the last question if anybody's there? Is that okay, Shwetpriya, or we'll close it now?
no, no, take it, not. I'm
Guys,
sure
do you have
both
any
of you
questions?
will enjoy it because I have
Yes.
had the opportunity to work with Sir, and it has been such an immense opportunity for me. In fact, when I started off, no, when I went to Bombay and I was showing him my work, he's like, I wanted to work with him, assist him, and he's like, why do you want to assist me? And then he's like, come and join me instead and work for me. That's what I did, and I remember shooting for Mumbaika with him, 2021, yeah, last year. I remember shooting in the month of Jan and Feb. We finished the schedule. At that point, there was one shot where everybody was trying to figure out something. He just walked in within seconds and finished the shot, and we were all, flabbergasted with regards to how did he even achieve it because we were struggling to get that shot. And in fact, he was directing it and doing being a DOP too, and he comes with a lot of knowledge and experience. That's what
yes,
makes him
exactly. The
remarkable.
moment he started telling, a nutshell about his journey from his house till the Arunachal Pradesh and the way he is telling, I think we should have one exclusive session for Sir also.
Hi,
Yeah.
Narendra. Do you have something to ask?
Cyril, you can pull up people if you
Yes,
can
yes.
handle.
Hello?
Okay, okay. We will have Narendra has come. Narendra, any question to Shwetpriya, ma'am? We close with you.
Mohit, do you have anything to ask?
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Shwet.
Yeah, hi Mohit.
Hi. I've been looking through a lot of your works, and the word experimental is really emphasized there. I mean, not that's not an art. I think you didn't stick to an art style, but there's a lot of experimental work there. So, can you give a brief to how do you approach storytelling, and how like okay, I should try this instead of what I tried earlier.
So I'll tell you one thing. I don't know what kind of a disease this is, but I have a kind of disease which is I get too bored with if I stick to certain things. Yeah, so I keep moving. I'm sorry about that if that intrigues you. But yeah, I completely if you ask me, I do see basic thing is lighting and everything, right?
Mhm,
So that
mhm,
is learned. And if you give me a camera, I'm ready to shoot even normal. See, I can shoot products. I know how to treat a product as a photographer, as a cinematographer. I know how to light a product, and I know
mhm.
how to light a person according to mood, right?
Uh-huh,
According to mood. So when a story teller, like when a filmmaker comes in, a director comes in and asks me, tells me this is the story, this is the thing. So there are two ways to go about it. Either you go in a like a parallel cinema, wherein you do it realistic. If you see my
mhm.
profile also on LinkedIn or anywhere on Instagram, quite a few, you'll find it. You'll find various. You will not see me in one particular category,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So you will
Mhm,
find me throughout, and I'll do products, I'll do people, I'll do fashion, and then I do cinematography for different kinds of movies, be it advertising cinematography, wherein it's all about product, force branding, force marketing, all of those things. And movies like Suvidhaga, like Mumbai Ko, and a couple of couple of shoots that I have done. I love lighting in a very realistic way. Yeah, that is where
uh-huh,
a person connects. So a movie like specifically I'll give you an what to say example perhaps. See a
mhm,
movie like Sanjay Leela Bhansali's movie perhaps. There's a lot of light that happens and then a lot of cutting. Like RKC sir, like Ravi K. Chandan sir, lights up a lot and then cuts up a lot of light.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
and when he's cutting a lot of light, yeah, they would be around 40 to 50 sky panels or huge. In fact, a huge set and a lot of lighting is cut and all that. But that only for every other, he will not, he has stuck to that kind of a genre. But when he started off with his first movie, Khamoshi and all, it was very realistic, if you see. But he
Mhm.
kind of moved on from that and started doing all the commercial work going further, which worked out for him. For me, I love doing realistic art. I love experimenting with only 100-watt bulb and just creating that what I see every day,
Uh-huh.
day to day, whatever I see, I try adding that connect to people. Like if I see more, I think for a matter of fact, if you give me a product, I've been shooting products as well, and I know how the client comes and asks in my product has to be lit, my product has to be lit. That's a different way of working completely.
Mhm.
And coming to movies, it's a complete different.
Okay,
You can pick
okay.
out what do you connect to basically. Do you connect to realistic light, a ray coming in, or very, you think that there are only two lights or one light, but there'll be around five to six light that has already been lit up and then been set up, and then you cut the light. It's not always about lighting, it's about cutting the light also.
Yeah, yeah. I'm more into cinematic lighting, and I was actually kind of intrigued the way you've handled the section in people section. Yeah, that's where I was looking for the photographs here. And there's something that's really fantasy like, then there's something that's really bold and realistic. Then there's something that's really planned and it's close to what you'll take from a phone maybe.
Mhm.
um in all of these, again, uh, it's I don't know, I'm just amazed of how well you can jump from genres to genres. And you
You
still
can say, I think you're right. It is genres to genres. See, you are a photographer and you know how to click pictures, isn't it? So
uh,
everybody out there know what they like doing, what they don't like doing. I love travel
mhm,
photography, frankly speaking. I love
mhm,
doing. I have been a person. If you see my travel work, it's complete different. There's mood to it. There's a lot of elements to it. But when you come to commercial work, no, you will not be able to add a lot of elements or play with light. And when you're working for specific brands or marketing or advertising agencies, or for ads and couple of films where the director is pretty adamant as to they want it in certain ways, right?
mhm,
So when you
mhm.
ask what you want to do, the day I put in money for my own movie, you will find only my work and my genre.
Yeah. Okay, okay, so these were mostly commercial works, is it?
Yeah,
That's
most of them
why
are
they're so
commercial.
different. Okay, okay. I see
It
that
could be
now.
tourism, it could be Karnataka tourism, it could be what to say, Gujarat tourism. You could see a lot of product work.
Yep, yep.
In fact, you can get into the LinkedIn and have a look at my work that I have done. You can see, you can just go through my IMDb as well.
I just went through your portfolio, your website, I guess, and that was just a place. And yeah, okay, and this actually makes sense that you were doing a lot of commercial work, so that's why it's different, and that's the reason there. Um, cool.
What are you into, Mohit?
I'm into design actually. I animate, I do compositions. I mean, I just draw what I like. I'm like, okay, I want to create a scene, I'm gonna draw it.
But if
Uh,
I keep doing that, now I will not get paid. I'm sorry.
yeah,
He's still a student, so that's why he's asking questions.
yeah, yeah.
Cyril, would you pay me for it?
Cool, cool. More, do you have any questions? Shall we close the session? I guess it's ma'am has been spending extra time with us.
Sure,
So.
yeah, not an issue. Yeah, yeah. You guys decide. Like, I have no problem.
Ma'am will
Yes,
request
yes.
to
So thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much
8:15.
for joining us.
Shweta, very thanks a lot for 30 minutes extra time I took of yours.
Loved your session, like
Thank
that. The
you.
session.
Thank you so very much. And the sir is hearing, I guess, as at least I guess,
I
love
told,
you
I'm very
always. Yeah.
decent.
Thank you, Santosh sir, like
Thank you, sir.
for
From the
your
days of
valuable
Roja,
words and history.
Roja Talabadi, from there, always loved your work and thanks for like
He's the
love to
one.
hear you.
Cyril, he's the
Yes,
one
yes.
who actually pushed me into, like, why you have to keep what to say, exhibition Shwet, why you want to assist me and all of that, and then he gave me an opportunity to work in his movie. wherein I did some photography for him when I worked for him and all. And it's such it's a journey to be with him only. The amount of work he's done from the beginning to till date,
Yes,
dude,
yes,
and the humbleness the man has, it's different.
yeah,
And
yeah.
he'll be like, why did you do that? This is not the way to do it. You can do it in the other way also.
Yes, yes. So he's done movies everywhere, all languages, but being Tamilian, we love him. So there's some special bond love for him always.
He will always be there, yeah. It's because of
Yes,
people like him we are here.
yes.
It's an honor to for to see him here in the platform actually.
Santosh sir, love you a lot and always will be your kid.
Thank you so very
Thank you,
much, sir.
Santosh sir. Thank you,
Keep
Tejas
Thank
sir.
looking
you,
up
sir.
to you
And
and
Thank you,
take
thanks,
care of
Shwet.
Sweet
you.
Priya. Thanks to you for your
Have a
time.
good
Mm.
day. Yes.